Personally, I don't get in people marriage. I don't get in people children. It's none of my business, and it shouldn't be. Weak people fight that way. For Bryn's birthday?
Yes.
Are you planning to speak to them in Bryn's birthday?
I don't know what I'm gonna do yet.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss the Real Housewives of New York, season 14, season finale. And baby, I want you to get comfortable, get a good drink, a good snack, a good meal, because the way I'm about to wear Sai De Silva out.
And you're gonna always get it again and again and again.
When it comes to one of the most insufferable and unlikable new housewives, I think that Sai takes the #1 spot. There's obviously some jealousy and this sick fixation and obsession with Jessel. Because if you don't care about Jessel and Pavitt, you sure kept them in your mouths every single scene. And also, you have the audacity to be upset with Brynn for blabbing at her birthday party, but when it's all said and done, you're in the wrong. Ubah told you a secret, she trusted you with her secret, and you went and blabbed to Erin and Brynn at Cashapp. And Ubah, I have to get on you quickly, because why are you more upset with Brynn than you are with Sai? Yes, Brynn was petty and messy and shady for blurting that out, but at the end of the day, the fact still remains that Sai is the culprit. Sai is the one that you need to be angry with. She is the one who's in violation. I was just so confused, like, what are we watching right now? Y'all want to be this mad at Brynn when the whole time it's all Sai's fault? But y'all, this finale was the best episode of the season in my opinion. They definitely did that. I was thoroughly entertained. And with all that being said, let's just jump right on into it, because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up the episode with Erin and Ubah hanging out. And Erin's happy that her and Ubah are in a good place, because remember in Anguilla, they were at odds. Now, I thought it was cute because they were doing the outdoor bumper cars. And that's one thing I love about being a New Yorker. There is always something to do on any weekend, any weekday, any season. You will never be bored here. So now they finish with the bumper cars, and now they sit down to talk and have some coffee. So Erin goes on to say that she had such a great time last night when they were all at Swingers together, and she wants to keep that vibe going. Now, Erin, I don't know what event you were at, sis, but from where I was sitting, it didn't look like your couples night was that much of a success, because you guys spent the majority of the night getting on Jessel and Pavitt about their marriage and Pavitt's Vietnam trip. So I don't know how that's fun, but I guess. And of course, they bring up Pavitt's answer when the guys were going around saying what they love about their wives and why they married them. And Erin's like, yeah, I really felt bad for Pavitt, because that answer that he gave, he was like, I'm with her because she lets me do whatever I want. And I said, but Erin, let's roll the tapes back, because that's not what Pavitt said. And if we want to get technical, sis, let's talk about Abe's answer, because Abe's answer wasn't that romantic either. He was like, well, I got with Erin because I wanted to marry somebody who loves sex and loved to have a good time and put up with my shit. That's not really that romantic. So you're talking about, oh, I was expecting Papa to say, oh, my wife is beautiful and she's smart, and that's why I fell in love with her. But again, your husband didn't say that about you. He didn't say anything about you being beautiful and talented and smart. Like, again, sis, it has to be projection. Because I'm just so confused as to why you are so invested in what Jessel and Pavitt have going on. And Erin, I was going to save this for later on in the recap, but I don't think that you're cut out for reality TV. And on Instagram, I've noticed that you're trying to defend yourself and your actions, talking about, oh no, it's production, it's editing, and you guys didn't see the whole thing. Miss me with all that BS. Y'all love to pull that production card when things don't work out in your favor. If all the fans loved you and we were on your side, you guys would be singing a different tune. So again, I don't want to hear anything about, no, you guys don't know that, and that's not really what happened. Baby, they can't edit everything out. They can only show us what you give them. And you've shown that you're a mean girl along with your sidekick Sai. And I see in the clips for the reunion trailer, you're up there crying, trying to act like, well, I was going through a lot. You guys just don't know. I don't want to hear that. You don't get to sit up here, taunt somebody, and bully them for weeks on end. Then when the viewers call you out, as we should, now you want to cry and play the victim. We're not doing that. But I say all that to say, Erin, you need to be focused on your marriage and your husband and what he's saying about you. Because 3 episodes ago, he lets you know that if you don't have sex with him for any amount of time, that he will be cheating on you. So again, sis, not too much on what Pavitt is saying about Jessel. Worry about your man. But anyhow, Ubah says that she actually thought that Pavitt's answer was romantic and sweet because that's what everybody should strive for, to have somebody put up with their stuff. So now Ubah goes on to say that she was actually annoyed with Sai's husband David that night when he kept pestering her about why is such a beautiful woman like herself still single. And she's like, I don't need anybody to complete me. I find that question to be annoying and stupid. Like, I don't need to be asked that. And I agree. I think that it is a very annoying question. It's also insensitive and it's just dumb because you're pretty much implying that there's something wrong with you if you're not coupled up. And you know what's really funny to me? The fact that when this season first started, I really liked David. I said, oh, he has more sense than his wife. He seems to be emotionally intelligent and kind. And now I'm like, I can't stand him. What really sealed it for me was in the last episode when he was asking about Pavitt and Jessel and if they actually did have sex on their staycation. And I said in my last recap, it's time for David to enter back into the workforce because he has way too much time on his hands to be worried about what Jessel and Pavitt have going on in their bedroom. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm over David. Sai and him can both go. And then with all the tea swirling around about how they got together anyway, I'm like, yeah, again, Sai and David, I don't see it for either one of them. Now, we jump to this next scene with Brynn and Sai. And I'm going to wrap this scene up quickly because y'all know how I feel about Sai. And the contradictions continue to jump out. So they're both in Central Park for Brynn because Brynn wants to dedicate a tree in honor of her grandmother. Now, we all know Brynn's story. Brynn's grandmother raised her and her siblings from the time that Brynn was like 6 months old. So now Brynn starts sharing how much her grandmother loved the fact that Brynn lives in New York. And when she did come to visit, she loved Central Park. She was feeding the ducks. And now we see Sai sharing a story about how when she was a teenager, her mom would make her sell incense in Central Park and she would hate it. And I want to stop right here because I was confused at how Sai brought her mom up when I clearly remember 2 episodes ago in that brunch scene with her and Jessel, she told Jessel, I don't like talking about my mom. So now, fast forward to a week later, you're here filming the scene with Brynn, and you do what? You bring your mom up, who you say you don't want to talk about because it's too painful. Unless I've been watching a different show, unless I've heard it wrong, was I the only one confused? I said for somebody who claims that she does not care, she is detached from her past, she sure does bring her mom and her traumatic childhood up every chance she gets. Does she not? And Sai, I don't mean this to be shady. I'm actually saying this from a concerned place. I think it's time that you enroll in some therapy immediately because you are not over what happened to you and how you grew up. For 14 weeks, we have heard you reminisce about the past, how hard it was, all these stories about you not having money, your mom being an alcoholic, your dad not being there, Christmas trees from the dollar store. We've heard it all. I thought it was kind of strange that she couldn't just let Brynn have her moment to talk about her grandma. You're there to support your good friend Brynn, not make it about yourself. Along with Sai being extremely self-centered, she lacks a lot of self-awareness. Because I said, my God, today, this woman can't go one whole scene without centering herself in some shape, way, or form. So here's where I lost it. They select a tree, and Brynn wants to dedicate a weeping willow for her grandmother because that was her grandma's favorite tree. And so she starts crying. Sai hugs her, and Sai says that Brynn is like a little sister to her, and she understands Brynn because she had a similar upbringing. So I said, okay, let me stop right here. Because for Sai to say that Jessel is out of line to try to relate to her, couldn't somebody argue that Sai's out of line to try and relate her struggles to what Brynn went through? So it's okay for Sai to be the only one who's able to compare her struggles and her life story to everybody else's, but nobody else can do the same. Because I was just so confused that she could even twist her mouth to say, well, I understand Brynn because I went through it too. Well, if we want to get technical and if we want to get petty, one could argue that Brynn probably had it worse than you did, Sai. I was just too done. I said the audacity. Sai acts like she is the only person on this earth with a sad story. I'm telling you guys right now, I would not be mad in the least bit if this is Sai's last season. Grand opening, grand closing. I will not be upset at all. Because I don't think I can go another season with Sai and her attitude and her blatant disrespect and disregard for everybody else. I can't do it. Now we jump right on over to Jessel at Jenna Lyon's gorgeous apartment. And we see that Jenna has lent her place over for Jessel to have her photo shoot for Jessel's new e-commerce site. And I have to say, I said Jenna is a good friend. Because I don't know too many people who would let somebody use their home for a photo shoot. But I said, again, Jenna continues to show us why she's that girl. So Jessel's really appreciative. Then she goes on to say that Jenna's a perfectionist. And if she had the money to hire Jenna as a creative director, she definitely would do it. But she's not there yet. And I thought it was so funny because at one point, we do see Jenna giving the model and the director some pointers on how to make the shoot better. And Jessel was soaking it up. She was like, girl, give me all the free information I can get. Jenna was definitely giving, I'll give you a few freebies and then that's it. Like, you're on your own. And I said, I know that's right. Like they say, the game is to be sold, not told. And let me quickly say this. The model that Jessel hired for the photo shoot, she was so pretty. And when she came out in that second look, I said, yes, ma'am. She did that. Like, she looked amazing. So now Ubah arrives, and Jessel says that she wanted Ubah to come because she wanted Ubah's advice and tips and help, since Ubah's a model herself, and she wanted Ubah to give the model some direction. And I love it. I love the fact that each woman has their own thing. Ubah's a model. Jenna is an icon. Jessel is in fashion PR. Everybody's in their own lane. They have their own expertise, and it's just fabulous. They can ask each other for help in different areas. And I always love to see women supporting women. So at this point, they take a break with the photo shoot, and now Ubah and Jessel are in Jenna's bathroom, and they're just chatting. So Jessel's like, girl, let me tell you. The other night, Brynn and Jenna came over to my place, and Brynn was telling me what Erin and Sai have been saying about me and Pavit's marriage. So she's like, girl, they're trying to poke holes in my marriage. I don't like that. They're out here talking about the fact that Pavit doesn't wear his wedding ring. So Ubah's like, what? Are they serious? Then Ubah points out that a man can still cheat whether he has a wedding ring or not. Then she says that more women hit on men when they have their rings on. And whether that's true or not, all I have to say is, at the end of the day, it's nobody's business how Pavit and Jessel choose to conduct their marriage. And I want Sai and Erin to focus on something else. Because for 14 weeks straight, these two have been up Jessel's ass about what goes on in their bedroom, where Pavitt's going, and it's bizarre. So Ubah says, one thing about me, I don't get into people's marriages and I don't talk about their children. That's off limits, and that's only how weak people fight. I said, exactly. And I want to stop right here, because when Bravo played the clip of Ubah and Jessel talking about this on their Instagram, you see Erin in the comments talking about they didn't play the whole thing and you guys are only seeing an edited version of it. And I just said, again, save your breath. You're just mad that the fans are siding with Jessel and Ubah, and you're just upset because you've been exposed as a weirdo and a jackass worried about what Pavitt and Jessel have going on. Like I said earlier on in this recap, you guys show your asses, then when the viewers are not on your side, now it's all that, oh my gosh, no, you guys didn't see the whole thing, that wasn't the whole conversation, I didn't say that, production mixed up my words, they cut and screwed it like this, and that's not really what went down. Baby, we're not doing this. You and Sai have been complete assholes. And now you want to sit up here and cry in the Instagram comments about how that's not really true and how you're being painted out to be the bad guys. But it's like, Miss Mamas, we don't care. And like I've said many times before, the cameras can only show us what you give them. So now Ubah wants to know, how does Jessel feel about seeing Sai and Erin at Brynn's birthday party in a couple of nights? So Jessel's like, look, it's gonna be real short and sweet. And I said, exactly. If I were Jessel, there would be no more conversations between me, Sai, and Erin.
No.
And a quick question for you guys. Do you feel like Sai got an abnormal amount of camera time in this finale episode? I felt like Sai was in every single scene. I think that's why I was so heated. But anyhow, we now jump to Sai and Erin meeting up, and they're at a costume shop looking for Venetian masks because the theme of Brynn's birthday party is sort of like a masquerade party. So as they're looking around the store, they start talking about the other night. Sai has the audacity to say that she's still upset with Jessel. How on earth are you still angry at Jessel when you're the one who harassed her and Pavitt all night long? You were questioning Pavitt like that was your husband. You screamed at Jessel and called her a bitch for no reason, mind you. But now you want to say that you're still annoyed with Jessel? That's how I know that we have a lot of folks walking around who aren't quite wrapped too tight. Because for you of all people to start an argument with somebody and now you want to play victim and say, well, I'm still angry at them. That's not how this works. The only person who has the right to be angry is Jessel. You guys have been so evil towards her this entire season. Jessel has done nothing to you. Sai, I would have more respect for you if you just came out and said, you know what it is, I'm jealous of Jessel. I'm jealous that she had it easy. I'm jealous that she has a cushy life, and I want her accent. Because that's what this is. It's jealousy and envy. And you're too cowardly to admit that. But that's what it is. I just said, girl, you really need help. Because again, I'm just confused as to how you could even twist your mouth to say that you're still angry. What are you angry about? You started all the mess. So now Sai brings up the fact that Jessel referred to Erin as her pet parrot that night. And Erin's like, wait, what? She said that I was a parrot? Like, are you serious right now? Who says that? I want to drop kick her. Why would she say that? I said, Erin, shut up. You want to be Billy Badass one day, now you want to cry because somebody called you a pet parrot? Like, again, girl, stop. Either you're this mean girl or you're not. I'm just so sick of Erin. And Erin, I'm so sorry, girl, but your personality, it doesn't really land on camera. You're a bit dry and a bit boring. I just said, again, I'm just not understanding the pea brain logic that Sai and Erin have. Because I don't know on what planet you feel like you can say whatever you want to somebody, then when they defend themselves, now you want to get upset at how they responded? That's not how this works. And did you hear how crazy Sai sounded when she said, yeah, Jessel calling me a mean girl? I mean, her calling me a mean girl is pointless. I might be abrasive and I might be straightforward, but I'm not a mean girl. And I said, baby, you are mean. Let's call a spade a spade. You're also insufferable, aggravating, irritating, frustrating, rude, tacky, condescending, and self-absorbed, on top of you being mean. And I think it's hilarious in a recent interview that you did with Entertainment Tonight. And you're like, I'm not a mean girl, I'm a girl's girl. I said, girl, if you're a girl's girl, then I'm the complete opposite then. Because if you're a girl's girl, then it's a sad day for us, isn't it? If you're such a girl's girl, then why are you having a kiki with Erin all the time about Jessel and Pavid's sex life? Why are you saying things like, oh my gosh, she told me it took her 25 minutes to warm up down there? What is she, an oven? Girls don't say things like that about other women. You don't like anybody but yourself. You have a very nasty and vile spirit, honestly. And again, that's no shade, that's not a read. I'm just telling the truth. And one of my subscribers told me in the last episode that their teenage daughter walked in on one of the episodes and they were like, oh my gosh, mommy, that woman is so mean. That's a teenager noticing your behavior at your big age. But yet you want to sit up here and talk about, oh, I'm not a mean girl, I'm a girl's girl. If this is your definition of a girl's girl, you need to do some evaluating and some self-reflecting and go on and get some help. And for somebody who claims that she can't stand Jessel and doesn't care about her, you seem awfully pressed about her calling you a mean girl, because I know if I don't care about a person, I don't care what they think about me. Like I said before, y'all need to cut Jessel a check, because the way she carried this season on her back, the way she stayed in your mouth the entire time, she is tap dancing in y'all's heads rent-free. That is true power. Because for you to claim that you can't stand this woman, you talk about her every chance you get. So now they change gears in the conversation and Erin's like, look, I don't want to start anything, not trying to be messy, but the other day me and Ubah hung out, we had a good time, but she did express to me that she was a bit annoyed at your husband when he asked her why is she still single. And Erin says, again, it's not a big deal, not trying to start anything, but she just expressed that she was offended by it and she feels like, would anybody ask a man that? And 9 times out of 10, that question is always directed towards women. I rarely hear men being asked, oh, why are you still single? It's always directed towards women and it's so frustrating. And Ubah had every right to be annoyed, because I would have been annoyed too. And I would have told David to his face, sir, you need to get a job and stop worrying about people's sex lives and why I'm still single. Actually, I'm lying, because I would have been extra petty and I would have asked, oh, well, how did you and Sai meet? Because I heard some things that you were still allegedly married. Is that true? Since we want to poke around and ask about everybody's marital status, let's talk about how you and Sai met. Let's talk about that. And it was hilarious because Sai had the nerve to be upset hearing that. She was like, wait, what? David didn't mean any harm. He was just saying, oh, you're the total package. I wonder why you're still single. He compliments my friends. He loves my friends. I don't understand why anybody would be upset by that. I said, oh, okay. So it's okay for you to dog out Pavid every chance you get, but now when somebody tells you about your husband, now you want to get all defensive and upset? Sai is a piece of work. I just said, oh my gosh. The way I'd be wearing Sai out every chance I got. And Sai, it's not lost on me that you were in your feelings at Ubah being upset with David. So now all of a sudden you want to blurt out Ubah's business and say, well, anyhow, it doesn't even matter because Ubah's dating somebody and it's going great and she's happy. And I said, okay, look at you. So you're that angry at hearing that Ubah's upset with your husband. So now you want to reveal her business like that? After Ubah told you don't say anything to anybody. So now Erin's like, wait, what? I didn't know she was dating somebody. Who is she dating? Is he cute? So Sai's like, look, I can't say anything else. I've already said too much, but yes, she's dating and she's happy. And you want to talk about you're a girl's girl, but you can't even keep somebody's secret. Now you have Erin whining and complaining about how upset she is that Ubah told Sai this news first and not her, because she considers herself a better friend to Ubah than Sai is. I said, at the end of the day, Erin, you're not to be trusted either. You would have told everybody in the group as well. So it doesn't really matter because I don't think that either one of you guys are great friends to anybody. So now we jump to the day of Brynn's birthday party and everybody's getting ready. I love the short scene with Jenna and her son. They were in her closet. She's trying to figure out what to wear. She's like, oh, should I wear this? I wore this to the Met Gala a few years ago. Should I wear this outfit? Is Celine? And the way her son was not having it. He was like, Mom, I love you, but this outfit just isn't giving. And she was like, really? He was like, no. So now we jump to Jessel and Pavitt talking before they get ready. And the way Pavitt has a mouth on him, it's clear that he is not here for Sai or Erin, and I love every single minute of it. He was like, should I wear 10 wedding rings now since I'm out here walking around with no rings on? And then he says that he's getting tired of Sai and Erin's antics, and he feels like they're both projecting because they probably aren't that happy in their marriages. That's why they're so focused on him and Jessel. And I said, that's exactly what it is, Pavitt. Because if they were so happily married to their spouses, they wouldn't have the time or the energy to even obsess about what you guys have going on in your home. Happy folks are not hating on people. And Jessel had me screaming because the way she was reading them both down, she was like, I'm not trying to deal with the negativity tonight. I'm over the both of them. And Erin can sit in her sad Tribeca quarter because she's obsessed with us. I love the shade. I said, I am here for it. And the fact that Jessel is one of the fan favorites, she is the unsung hero of this season, and Mama is low-key the MVP too. And did you guys see her spread in Rolling Stone? I said, come through. She is truly having the best season ever as a newcomer. I have to say, Jessel is that girl. And she got first seat next to Andy at the reunion. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Sai's at the end. You see how God will truly prepare a table in front of your enemies, because I said I love to see it. So now it is officially time for Brynn's party to begin. Brynn arrives to the restaurant first, and we find out that one of her good friends is letting her use their restaurant for her birthday, and the restaurant was gorgeous. They had all the balloons there, it was decorated nicely, but Miss Brynn, and it's no shade, sis, but if you're going to throw a party, I'm going to need you to have a good spread, because those charcuterie boards looked a tad bit light to me. I said, okay, so where's the food? Is the food in the room with us? And Brynn, I'm not picking on just you. I get on every single housewife who does not have adequate food at their events, brunches, parties, baby showers, sipping seas. I get on everybody. I guess Brynn said, look, the Bravo check hasn't cleared yet, so this is all you're getting. Hopefully next season, though, we'll see an actual spread. But Brynn, girl, at least the restaurant is pretty. So all the guests start arriving. Brynn's friends are there. We see all the ladies arriving. Sai and David pull up. Erin and Abe. Honey, when Ubah came through the door, I said, baby, you better do that. Ubah looked good. That fur, I mean, she looked amazing. Jenna arrived with her friend, and I loved how Jenna came through with the mask on. I said, yes, that's what I want to see. I like how Jenna really stuck to the theme because nobody else really came in with their masks. So anyhow, we see Brynn asking Jenna for a kiss. She's like, a kiss for my birthday? So Jenna gives her a kiss. Then all of a sudden, Brynn says she wants another one. I said, Brynn, if you don't leave Jenna alone. And Jenna is taken now, so you can't be asking for kisses when she has somebody. Now at this point, we see David pull Ubah to the side, and he says, hey Ubah, it was brought to my attention that you were offended by me asking you, why are you still single? In my silly attempt to compliment you, I used the wrong words. I didn't mean it. I think you're a spectacular woman, and I don't believe for a minute that a woman needs a man to complete her. So Ubah accepts his apology. She's like, it's fine. It's a teachable moment, and let's not use those words again. Then she whispers to him that she's good. But I was glad to see that David owned up to it. Like, look, I was wrong. I apologize. I'm sorry. And they're good. So now we cut to Sai and Brynn talking. And of course, they're talking about Jessel. I said, Sai, you really cannot keep this woman's name out your mouth. You don't feel like a weirdo? Sai's talking about, I mean, in group settings, Jessel's fine, but one-on-one, she's not my jam. Jessel doesn't like you either, sis. The feeling's mutual. I just feel like it's some sort of psychosis for you to keep talking about somebody that you supposedly can't stand. And I thought it was so funny that right as Sai was talking about Jessel, Jessel and Pavit pulled through. So anyhow, Jessel hugs everybody. She goes up and hugs Brynn. And mind you, Sai and Erin are standing right next to Brynn. And as Jessel's hugging Brynn, they're just staring at her. So Jessel gives Sai and Erin a really cold hello, and then she walks away. So you have Erin talking about, oh, I don't get a hug? That's it? Just a hello? What did I do? I said, no, wait a second. Let's roll the tapes back, shall we? Because earlier in the episode, when you and Sai were at the Halloween store, you guys made a pact that you planned on ignoring Jessel at Brynn's birthday party. So now when Jessel hits you with the same exact attitude, now you're upset that she ignored you? You guys are just so evil. Because how dare you be upset that Jessel just said hello to you, nothing else, when you plan to ignore her the whole time? Y'all want Jessel to chase and thirst after you guys so bad, and when she pays you dust, you can't take it. But yet you guys want to deny being bullies. This is bully behavior. And Erin, you truly are a loser. When you were chasing behind Jessel, following her, talking about, hi Jessel, hi. You didn't say hi to me. You didn't hug me. What's going on? What did I do to you? I just said, if I were Jessel, I would have cursed you clean out. Girl, get out of my face. We don't talk. We're not friends. Leave me alone. I said hello to you, and that's it. I don't owe you an explanation for why I ignored you. You already know. You don't see it for me. I don't see it for you. Enjoy your night. I'm going to enjoy my night over here with my husband. And again, leave me alone. You look crazy chasing behind somebody like you're a dog about, oh, why aren't you talking to me? Why didn't you hug me? Why didn't you say hi to me when you've been harassing this woman and her husband all season long? You look crazy. And I loved how Jessel checked you. She was like, well, honestly, Erin, you've been talking about my husband, saying that he doesn't wear his wedding ring. You've been talking about me and my marriage. I don't appreciate that. So that's why I didn't hug you when I came over. And I said, Erin, do you forget that you're being filmed for a reality show? Do you have amnesia? Because when you said, I didn't talk about you and your marriage, what are you talking about? I haven't said one word. I said, girl, are you really doing this right now? We can play the tapes back starting from episode 2, where you were roasting Jessel about her not having sex with her husband. We see you at the date night with you and your husband and Sai and David talking about how Jessel and Pavit haven't had sex in 2 years. You brought up to Ubah earlier on in this episode how you really felt concerned about Pavit's answer when he was asked, why did he marry Jessel? And then you brought up how he wasn't wearing his wedding ring at the couple's night. But now you want to lie to her face and no, I haven't said anything about your marriage. I just said, Erin, you really are crazy. Like, you really need help. Because for you to outright lie like that, and again, if I were Jessel, I would have said, girl, get out of my face. What really blew me was when Sai walked over and I said, now Sai, you say every episode that you don't like Jessel, so why are you trying to involve yourself in what Erin and Jessel are talking about? So Jessel says, look, Sai, I already know you don't like me. I don't like you either. We're cool. So Sai says, no, Jessel, it's not that I don't like you. It's just that I don't want to be best friends. I just said, where do you get off thinking that somebody wants to be your best friend? Sai really thinks that she's that girl. It's just so funny. Like, you really are delusional. And I loved how Jessel said, shout out to everybody, I have fun. And she walked away from the both of them.
Oh! Shout out to everybody, I have fun.
I gotta be good.
So at this point, you have Erin chasing after Jessel again. So Erin's like, look, Jessel, just talk to me. I'm just so confused by this whole thing because I heard from somebody that you have this whole checklist about things that you can't stand about me. So Jessel's like, that's not true at all. And that's actually psychotic. Now, Erin, it's not that she has a checklist about you. She just has a running notes tab open about all the things that you said about her that she wants to address. That's all it is. And even still, let's say that she did have some checklist about you of things that she can't stand. That's well within her right. You've been going around talking to everybody who will listen about her marriage. You don't feel like a weirdo talking about Jessel to everybody that you know, talking about her sex life, but you want to try to confront Jessel about some alleged checklist that she has about you. Again, these women would not be able to see me because I would be clearing them at every turn. And then when Erin said, and then for you to call me a pet parrot, what did I do to you? I said, if somebody does not come and get Erin, so help me God, because I cannot go another minute listening to her whine. So at this point, you have Brynn come in between Erin and Jessel, and she's trying to break things up, but she's also being messy and stirring the pot at the same time. And Brynn really pissed me off talking about, it's like you're not mad enough, Jessel. Then she goes on to say that Jessel needs to stand up for herself. And I just said, Brynn, let Erin and Jessel talk it out. We don't need you coming in the middle, making things worse, and then trying to low-key shade Jessel about how she's not standing up for herself. That wasn't needed. And Jessel says, look, even if I don't agree with somebody, I'm never going to yell or put somebody down. And Jessel, while I respect that, I understand that, I get it, there is a time for everything. Sometimes it's better to be silent and pay folks dust. And then other times, it's okay to yell and just completely unleash and let somebody know that you're not the one or the two. Now, Brynn, I know that we watch these shows for a certain level of drama, but I have to high-key get on you quickly because this stupid game that you wanted to play at your own birthday party, you, me, and everybody else watching this knew that no good would come from this stupid game and that you would essentially ruin your own birthday. Because what's the purpose? I just said, Brynn, I'm all for trying to move the storylines along, but I don't like when people look so thirsty to have some drama. And that's what this felt like to me. Because again, why would you purposely want to ruin your party by playing a game where everybody has to air out their grievances with each other? Like, let's use our brains here. You know it's going to be a mess. So Brynn starts off the game and she's like, Pavid, I want to address you. I didn't like when you called Sai bipolar when I was at your house the other night. And I just said, really, Brynn? That was so lame of you. And of course, Sai is offended. And I just said again, Sai gets no sympathy from me because you've been talking about Pavitt and Jessel like dogs this entire season. You're over there insinuating that Pavitt's going to Vietnam to cheat on his wife. You're harassing Jessel every 5 minutes about their sex life and laughing at her, calling her everything but a child of God, but now you want respect and you're angry and offended and you can't believe that Pavitt said that about you? I just don't understand how some people have this mentality where they're allowed to say whatever they want to say about you. Then when you clap back and you offend them, now they want an apology and they want respect. It's like, that's not how this works. And now Brynn brings up that Sai can be a bitch sometimes. And now you have Sai talking about, look, don't confuse me being honest with me being a bitch. I just say what I have to say, and your wife does lie sometimes. So Jessel's like, when did I lie? Once again, this stupid game wouldn't have been played. I would have just aired everybody out right then and there, and then I would have left. Sai, it's comical that you really have this lack of self-awareness because you're not honest. You're just vile. And I thought that you didn't care. I thought that you didn't give a damn what anybody thought about you. So why are you upset if Pavitt or Jessel or anybody did call you a bitch? If I were you, I would just own it. Yeah, I am one. Okay, and Sai wants to be the villain and the victim, and that's why she's having so many issues. Because I always say, you can't be both. You have to pick one. Now, here's where I almost changed the channel because I was so sick of Sai. But when she started screaming in Jessel's face at this very moment, that's when I really lost it. Sai, you need to consider yourself so blessed that Jessel has the patience of a saint and doesn't want to show her ass, because had you talked to anybody else like that, it would have been a different story. And see, the way my voice is set up, I have a naturally loud voice. And it really is something when I start yelling. So had Sai started yelling at me like that, we truly would have had a problem. I would have warned Sai out because I don't know who you're talking to. And how dare you yell at me when you're the one accusing my husband of cheating on me, and you've been making fun of our marriage for almost 3 months. So on top of that, now you want to add insult to injury and try to check me at our mutual friend's birthday party in front of everybody, including my husband, and you're raising your voice at me and cursing at me, and then on top of that, calling me a liar. That conversation would have been over. I think that Sai is truly a despicable person. I really do. There's no other word for her. Just a vile and sad and miserable spirit. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I just said, you've got to be kidding me. How dare you raise your voice at Jessel? Jessel has done nothing to you, and you know who to try. Because had you started screaming at somebody on another franchise, you probably would have gotten slapped, or somebody would have thrown a drink in your face. So Sai's still screaming at Jessel, calling her a liar, and Jessel's like, what did I lie about? So now you have Sai talking about, you lied about Pavitt's trip to Vietnam. You said that he was going next week. Then when I asked you at Swingers a few nights ago, you said, well, he's going in a few weeks. Then you said that he got his ticket. Then Pavitt said that he didn't have his ticket booked yet. So now Pavitt jumps in and he's like, that's not true. He said, I booked my flight, but my flight didn't open up yet. I said, let me stop you right here. Because Sai, it would have been you and I right then and there. Don't you dare question me and my husband about what we have going on. Let's say, for argument's sake, that what you're saying is true. You are aware that things change. And two, it's none of your business because Pavitt is not your man. So even if they did say, well, he's going next week, and then he changed it to a few weeks later, regardless, it's not your marriage. That's not your husband. Pavitt and Jessel are grown. They don't owe you anything. I wish I would explain myself to somebody who's not paying any one of my bills. If you want to know so bad, girl, hit this American Express. I don't owe you an explanation for anything. And again, Sai, I would have cursed you right out. Don't you ever in your life think that you're about to question me and what I have going on. Now, Jessel, I have to get you together quickly, because why on earth would you walk over to David and say, David, can you get your wife to like me again? And you have David saying, well, I don't think that I dislikes you. I just feel like it's a communication thing. And I just said, Jessel, why are you acting thirsty and desperate to be friends with a woman who clearly can't stand you? Y'all know how I feel about that. There is no way in hell that I'm chasing after anybody. It's not happening, not romantically or platonically. If you don't like me, that's fine. And I feel like this happens on every single franchise where certain women want to be friends with the inner circle so bad that they subject themselves to this abuse. We see it on Beverly Hills with Sutton always chasing behind Kyle and Dorit and Erica, knowing that they don't like her, and she goes back to them every single time. It's so annoying. We also see it on Potomac with Candace and Wendy when it comes to Giselle and Robin. And then when Sai walked over and you have Jessel saying, look, Sai, it's just hard for me to open up. And I just said, Jessel, you don't need to explain yourself to anybody, especially not to Sai. Why are you still trying to have a friendship with somebody who clearly hates you? Like, I'm not understanding this desperation. And I really got irritated with you because I said, Jessel, I've been rooting for you this whole entire time. Don't piss me off. And then you have Sai saying, hold on, Jessel, let me get my pet parrot. So here comes Erin, and she has on this little parrot mask and this like fur boa, and they're all laughing about it. I said, there would be no laughing about anything. I'm not king with women who were trying to destroy my marriage and talking about me for 3 months straight. And then when they brought the cake out and we saw Sai, Jessel, and Erin eating cake together, I just said, you know what, Jessel, if you want to sit up here and chase behind them so bad, again, be my guest. But I can't be more upset about this than you are. It's clear that you really crave their acceptance and their friendship. So again, it's out of my hands. But I said, you look low-key dumb to sit up here and kiki with women who don't like you. I'm not breaking bread or sharing any cake with somebody who just called me all these names 5 minutes ago. So it's the last few minutes of the episode, and as everybody's enjoying their cake, Brynn blurts out that she heard about Ubah's man in Connecticut. So when I tell you, it was like everything stopped. Sai's like, oh shit, it's about to hit the fan. I can't believe Brynn said that. And Ubah's like, what did you say? Ubah's annoyed, and she's like, obviously, I only told Sai, so it's apparent that Sai ran her mouth and told Brynn. So Ubah calls Brynn over, and she says, Brynn, if you say that one more time, I will circumcise you. And I was like, you could just tell that Ubah was livid. So we find out from Erin that a few nights ago, her, Sai, and Brynn went out to Cashapp for Brynn's birthday, and Sai spilled all the deets about Ubah's new man. And she told them both, don't say anything, this stays between the three of us. And this is why I will always say that it is so good to just keep things to yourself, because unfortunately, you cannot trust people. The minute it leaves your lips, you can almost guarantee that the person that you told is going to tell somebody. That's just always how it works. And I totally understood where Ubah was coming from when she said, you know what, I'm done, I'm going home. And she's like, bye, Brynn, happy birthday. And I would have left too, because that's just such a violation to find out that your good friend told your business behind your back. Then you have another friend blurting it out in front of everybody like that. I would have been angry too. And I don't care if folks think that Ubah was too dramatic. It's the principle behind the whole thing. That was not right of Sai to break Ubah's trust and go behind her back and tell her personal business. So at this point, right before Ubah leaves, Ubah addresses Sai and she's like, I heard that you spoke about my relationship on camera. So you have Sai denying it. I said, oh, so you want to call Jessel a liar, but here you are lying because you were on camera, sis. You were telling Erin at the Halloween store about Ubah's personal business. You might not have said it on camera when you were with Erin and Brynn, but you said it on camera when you told Erin. So now Sai blames it on the alcohol. She's like, look, I was drinking. I'm sorry. I wanted to immediately retract the statement when I said it, but I'm sorry. So now Brynn walks back over and she's stirring the pot again, making things worse. And she's like, but Sai, you told me that she was dating somebody who lives in Connecticut. Sai denies it, and now they go back and forth. And Sai's like, Brynn, I can't believe you. It's just completely effed up. It's her business. I said, wait. So now you want to talk about it's Ubah's business, but here you are spreading it to everybody. Brynn wouldn't have known anything had it not been for you opening your mouth. Like I said earlier on, yes, Brynn was messy to blurt that out, but at the end of the day, all the blame goes to you because you were told by Ubah, do not say anything to anybody. This stays between you and I. You're the only person who knows about me and my man. And you went and you crossed the boundary and you're in complete violation. Don't you dare try and shift the blame to Brynn. I said, girl, you are out of your mind. So now you have Sai screaming at Brynn, and I said once again, who in the entire hell is Sai screaming at? It wouldn't be me. And Brynn, I would have checked her if I were you. I would have said, girl, you can scream all you want to, but the point still stands that you're in the wrong because she told you not to tell anybody. And I wouldn't have known her business had you not spread her business. Sai, you want to talk about accountability, but yet you're not taking any when it comes to why you opened your mouth about Ubah's business. So at this point, Sai and Ubah have stormed out of the party, and you have Sai on the sidewalk. She's talking and apologizing to Ubah. She's like, look, Ubah, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean any of this. And Ubah says, oh, it's okay. And I just said, Ubah, I'm really surprised that you're more upset with Brynn than you are with Sai. And Ubah, if I were you, I would not accept Sai's apology, and her and I would never be friends again. Because the fact that you literally could not respect me and you told two people right after I told you, and I said, please don't say anything. And it's just so funny to me that this is the reason why Sai and Brynn aren't speaking now. And again, Sai, the only person you need to be mad at is with yourself, because this would not have happened had you not opened your mouth in the first place. At this point, the party's pretty much over. Everybody starts to leave. When Jessel was on her way out, Brynn said something to her like, you need to stand up for yourself. And Jessel's like, you know what, Brynn, I'm good, like, goodbye. And I just said, Brynn, you don't know when to leave well enough alone because you already ruined your own party. Why say that to Jessel? So now we close out the finale with the updates of what they're all doing now. And we see that Ubah still doesn't have an investor for her Ubah hot sauce, but she's invested in her new man in Connecticut, and he's actually met all the ladies. So then we see that Sai had all the ladies except for Brynn up to her house in upstate New York. And I said, the way Sai bitched and complained about Erin's house, I hope that Sai had enough toilet paper and enough food. We see that Jenna has a new girlfriend, and then we see for Jessel and Pavitt that they settled on a preschool, and I think this preschool was only $35,000 a year versus $60,000 a year at the other school. Brynn is freezing her eggs in Switzerland, and Erin, I think I zoned out. I didn't even catch what they said about her. And you guys know I can't stand Erin, so I said, you know what? It is what it is. But y'all, that was my finale recap. As y'all can see, I had a whole bunch to say because when I tell you that Sai wore me all the way out, I am very excited for this reunion because I cannot wait to see what she has to say for herself. I also can't wait to see what Erin has to say for herself because Erin has been backpedaling all season long on Instagram, making excuses for her behavior. So I'm dying to see what those two have to say. But again, I hope you all enjoyed my recap. Thank you all so much for watching, and you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.